welcome. This is Bedrot. Okay, whatever. New game. This game contains swearing, flies, trash, and bedrotting. Would you like to view the spoiler content warning? Sure. This game also contains themes of depression, isolation, despair, and agoraphobia. Reader discretion is advised. Now, dear reader, let's begin. Okay. How long has your life been like this? You haven't a clue. But given your situation, you don't care about that. Ooh, look at us. Rise and shine, Alice Abbott. Okay. Wow. What time is it? Look at us. We look like we need a therapist, maybe. The time really shouldn't matter to you, not when you're just gonna stay inside all day. Whatever. I'm just gonna do what I do best, sit and watch TV. It's gotten so bad that you can't bring yourself to get out of bed. In order to look around, you must find yourself having to click on everything in the room. You're grateful for this. Grateful that you don't have to go out for food. Otherwise, you would have died long ago. You used to actually use this for studying. Now it just eats up your energy you haven't paid for in a week. You haven't bothered to clean that up. Too much of a hassle when you already live in filth. You're so tired most of the time that you can't even bring yourself to put the trash in here. Looks like your floor has become your trash bin for tissues. Your lovely food-stained bed. It's more of a home to you than this one. You would have lost your head without this lovely contraption. Wanna watch something? Fuck that. Suit yourself then. Have fun stewing in your thoughts. The trash is piled up so much that it almost covers the windows. I would take out the garbage if I didn't have to go outside. So this, Oh. You've been meaning to call someone to fix this. Alas, the stench of rotting wood is nothing for you. Not when you live in the flies. I said with the flies, not in the flies, but whatever. You used to care about the crack in the wall, but now it's just decoration. Okay, so even though you lived in the storm for some time, you never finished unpacking. Looks like it's gonna stay that way. I guess we watch stuff. The only thing I can do. You switch on the TV, just like every single day. People always tell you to be consistent. And here you are, consistently staying in bed and watching TV. Even though you do this every day, the TV's flickering light still burns your retinas. You switch through channels. News, sports, questionable stuff, kid shows. You settle on My 30-Day Wedding. Yes, you know just about everything in that show is staged. But you like it. You like seeing these people be so petty towards each other. Seeing them beat the shit out of each other over silly things like soap reminds you of why you're even here. I know that some might think I'm missing out on life, but I'm perfectly fine missing out on people. Even if My 30-Day Wedding is staged, you can't help but feel that there's some level of truth to the pettiness. You remember how when you actually attended class, some boy began trying to prank you. And by prank, I don't mean silly things like dialing random phone numbers. I mean shit like trying to dump acid on you. And it was all because I didn't want to work with him on a project. Maybe I came across too harshly when I rejected him. A massive part of you believes that the world is a shitty place, but the idea that maybe it's your fault is tempting. Oh, you sit back and think on it some more. At least, if something's your fault, you can fix it. You switch to the news channel. You feel like watching something informative. Good evening, citizens of Livero City. Evening? You're not surprised, more disappointed in yourself than anything. You used to wake up at the crack of dawn to get shit done. Now you wake up at the crack of dusk to lay and rot. You bring your attention back to the TV. Thoughts aren't good for you. Today we bring you a grisly case. A murder. Another one. Just like every day. Yes, I know you see about this shit every day, but this one is so bad that we have to show you. You zone out a bit while the reporter talks about the crime scene. About the victim that was found out of the Cardinal River with half her face burned off, her breasts torn. The victim was named Emma Greenwood. Your ears perk up. You remember that she was one of your classmates, back when you went to class. She was also one of the only people to check up on you. You're sure that she was a good person. She sure as hell didn't deserve to die in such a horrific way. Why is the world like this? How is it that you can do everything right and still have something horrible happen to you? You decide to sleep. Again. And just like every night, you don't dream. On one hand, if you don't dream, you can't remind yourself that this situation doesn't suck, or does suck. Plus, you don't have nightmares about a stranger is gonna bust into your room and strangle you. On the other hand, sleep is getting boring without dreams. Sleep just consists of your random thoughts bouncing off each other. It's too much like when you're awake. Rise and shine! Again. Even though you got well over half a day of sleep, your eyes are still glued shut. Not to mention that the sunlight makes you want to clamp your eyes. You don't enjoy sunlight. You don't even go out to feel its warmth. It's just a nuisance to you. Something that stops you from... You can't think of what it stops you from doing. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? Rotting away! That's what. And it's moments like these where you question everything. No, you didn't question it when the trash began piling up in your room. Nor did you question when people showed up at your dorm with bills, letters of expulsion, and all that. Now that sunlight has hidden you, you question it. Part of you wants to go over to a window and cover it up with something. But you also don't want to see the dent you left in the bed from how long you've laid here. It makes everything feel too real. You'd hide from the light under your wrinkled covers. You don't sleep under there, you lay awake. The sunlight barely penetrates the thin fabric. It's better than having your eyes feel fried. There's nothing to distract you from your thoughts under the covers. Nothing but a faint buzzing of flies around the garbage. You try to take out little conversations the flies might be having. Anything to distract you from your mind. After what feels like an eternity, the room is dark again. You prop yourself up. Again. Just another night of nothing. That's what I expect. Just like every single night since you caged yourself in here. The only difference is that now you're realizing how miserable it is. Why do you have a trash bin if you never use it? It's only now that you realize how overpowering the stench is. You feel bad for whoever lives in the floor of those dorms. But that guilt isn't enough to drag you out. The only problem with having this takeout container there is that it's all moldy now. Might make you die quicker, though. Looks like you didn't turn off the TV last night. Oh well, you're already behind on electricity bills. No use in caring now. Huh? What's this? You can't discern what that is. Maybe it's a plant of some kind. You don't know what it could be living off of. Maybe off the food scraps under your bed. Maybe off the decaying wood. No use in wondering about it, though. No use in wondering about anything now. You lay back down in bed, stomach completely empty. As the days go on and on, you feel like your head is becoming more empty. You can't remember how when you were younger. You can remember how when you were younger, the lives of you and your sister were filled with joy and whimsy. As much as you can get in Libero City, at least. You know that your sister's off being productive, working in forensics of some kind. Heck, she probably is working on Emma Greenwood's case right as you rot. How would she feel if she saw me like this? Everyone in my family thinks I'm off getting some psychology degree. They all think I'm actually doing something with my life. When I'm just rotting. That's the best word for it. I used to be something, someone. Now I'm just some husk. You remember when Emma came to check in on you? She asked if anything had happened. You tried to pinpoint what happened. You're still trying, to be quite frank. At least if something did happen to you, the state of your life would be justified, right? Maybe it wasn't a single bad thing that happened. Maybe it was a bunch of smaller things piling up. Even though you've spent the better part of the day sleeping, you're too tired to think. You just want rest. It's been long overdue. When you wake up, the sun is blaring on you, and your little plant friend. Why is there so much sunlight out there? Libero City is usually all dark and gloomy. Why is it bright now all times? Sometimes you like to think it's sunny because you're not out there. What? Self? Fuck yeah. Funny? Hell yeah. At least, it's funny in your mind. Seeing the sun out reminds me that everyone is out there doing stuff. At least in the night, people are doing what I do, for the most part. Eating, watching TV, and sleeping. But I know it's not true when the sun is shining. You truly hate being reminded what you could be doing instead of laying in bed all day. You know it's your fault that you're like this. You struggle to sleep through the day, lost in thought. I know that some people out there feel the exact way that I do, but it manifests differently for people. Some people just turn to alcohol. Some people turn to adrenaline hunting. Some throw themselves into their work and become even more productive. I think that any of those people are more productive than I am. Even the alcoholic and adrenaline junkie. Because at least they're putting themselves out in the world. Why do my feelings manifest in this way? Night falls yet again, just like every single night. Do you know how insanity is defined? You really should, considering that you barely survived one semester of university. No answer? Shucks. Explains why you stopped attending class. Insanity. is when you do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. That's exactly what you're doing. Thing is, I know nothing's gonna change. No shit, it isn't. I know that every single day is the same. But how different am I compared to other people then? Alright, good point. The way that you view it with regards to insanity, you're the same as most people. People go to university expecting to outshine their peers, even if they're reusing the same study habits from high school. People go to work every single day doing random stuff for an apathetic boss, expecting that out of all of their other employers, they'll be the ones to get rich. And it's all the same to you. Except for the fact that society doesn't consider what you do to be productive. You do miss blissful ignorance. You hate being able to see the systems for what they are. You hate how you can't just go along with it like everyone else, even though it's all the same. The difference is that those people are happy, while I'm not. Aw, don't be such a Debbie Downer. Maybe you should watch some TV to return to your usual state of apathy. This plant looks different from yesterday. Smells different too. Looks like the TV's off. You don't remember turning it off. I guess that they finally cut the power. Explain why the lamp's off. This day was coming. And now your one source of entertainment is gone. All that can keep me occupied now are my thoughts. Or sleep. It doesn't matter that the power's gone. Most of my time is spent sleeping and thinking anyway. White noise rings in your mind. Your stomach grumbles with hollowness. And your eyes just don't want to stay open. Regardless of it, you sleep for 3 to or 18 hours. Your eyes always want to stay clamped shut for eternal slumber. Your eyes give in, and the darkness is all you see. Your other senses are heightened, but even they still feel dull. You know that it smells slightly worse in here than usual. You're used to the stench of mold and rotting wood, but you're beginning to pick up the odor of decaying meat. The flies are gonna love that. You wake up from another dreamless night. That's good. Nothing to remind you of what you could be missing out on. And it's night. You either slept for only a few hours or for an entire day. I'm probably going to fall right back asleep any minute. You're starting to wish that you'd stay asleep forever. This plant looks different from yesterday. Smells different too. You think that might be the source of that decaying odor. Wouldn't make much sense, though. How could a plant be growing and decaying? Can't make anything out in the darkness. You sure that maggots and larvae are festering in that takeout container? Gone is the foul odor of garbage, replaced by just the scent of your room. It's close to blocking off the exit. It's not like it matters. I was never going to leave in the first place. Quite the thought of despair here. But it's true. There's nothing out there for you. You're sure that no one in your family cares. You're sure that even if you finally did go out, you'd be miserable. Hell, the one person you remember being kind to you wound up dead. What does that mean? Does it mean that you have to resort to assholery if you want to live? The worst part of it all is that even after thinking about it, you don't know the root of your issue. Maybe it was a bunch of small things snowballing into something massive. But you can't even figure out the smaller thing. You fall back asleep. For a long, long time. And again, it's dreamless. You've come to realize that maybe you don't dream because your mind itself is a prison. Smells like blood and guts are spread around the room. The scent of rot overpowers you. Can't make anything out in the darkness. A very useless TV. The exit's blocked. You're too late. The vines rot guts. The substance stays wrapped around you. You don't try to fight it. You want to scream, but you're too tired. The strange tentacles poke through you, stitching you straight to the bed. You never intended to leave in the first place. Not for a long time, at least. But now that you're truly chained to the bed, you expect to regret it all. You don't. You had no dreams to live for, so your nightmares became your reality. Bedrot. That was so good. That was so good. Such a good game. I really like that. Alright. Thank you for watching. That was Bedrot.